When I think of an all-American vehicle, it doesn't get much better than a Jeep Wrangler. With Jeep selling more than 250,000 of these every year, this is one of the most popular off-road capable SUVs that money can buy. Now, of course, with the industry moving toward electrification, Jeep hasn't been able to escape that. And what I'm standing by is the most important addition to the Wrangler family in years. This is the electrified 2022 Wrangler 4xe. Now, I already had a chance to drive this vehicle first drive in Austin, Texas with Jeep about 6 months ago. And this week, as you can see, Jeep has loaned me the truck for about a week. We're gonna do some range testing. We're gonna do some 0 to 60 performance. We're gonna do some fuel economy testing. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna let you guys know, is the plug-in hybrid 4xe model the Wrangler that you wanna buy? Stay tuned to find out. Now, since I've showed you a detailed walk around of this vehicle, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. But because this is the plug-in hybrid version, I want to first start by reminding you what's underneath the hood. Now, this is a special Wrangler because this has one of the most powerful engines that the Wrangler offers. Now, surprisingly, even though the gas engine is just a 2-liter turbocharged direct injection 4-cylinder, it is augmented by an electric motor that's sandwiched in the transmission housing that develops 134 horsepower on its own and 181 pound-feet of torque on its own. When you combine the outputs, you get 375 horsepower. That's 105 more than what you get in just the 2-liter turbo by itself, and 470 pound-feet of torque. That torque figure matches that of the V8 powered Wrangler 392, which is a gas guzzler. Now we have the exact opposite end of the spectrum, and it offers the same torque, which is just absolutely incredible. That's what technology can do for you. Now, fuel economy is rated to get 20 in the city combined, basically 20 city, 20 highway. If you have the battery charged all the time and you run it in hybrid mode, Jeep says this vehicle will do about 49 mpge. That's the equivalent mpge when you factor in the electric motor. All electric range is around 21 to 22 miles because it has a 17 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now, that battery pack is fairly large. It's underneath the rear seat. And because of that larger battery pack, Jeep says this vehicle does qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit. So even though the 4xe is roughly 10 grand more expensive than a comparable gas 3.6 Wrangler, it does make up for it in gas savings and, of course, when you guys get that electric vehicle tax credit. It all goes out through an 8-speed automatic transmission, still a stepped automatic, and the 4xe is a heavy vehicle. This is one of the heaviest Wranglers you can buy because it weighs in at just over 5,100 pounds. The Rubicon model, which is heavier than this, is about 5,300 pounds. Now, if you guys are planning to tow, the 4xe can still tow a maximum of 3,500 pounds. Now let's take a look at the styling of this Sahara trim, because this is actually the lowest trim that you can get on the Wrangler 4xe. Jeep only offers it in the high trim Sahara, Rubicon, and the high altitude model, which is basically just a blacked out version of the Sahara trim. Unlike the baser end Wranglers, this actually does come standard with full LED headlights. You can see you have LED low and high beams, LED turn signals, and you can also get LED fog lights. Every Wrangler will get that. The Sahara also comes with these plastic bumpers. The Rubicon's the one where you can option in the steel bumper group. And you can see my tester is missing like the front trail camera. You have the traditional Jeep 7-slotted grille, and the Sahara comes standard with those painted fenders, which are nice. You can also option those in on the Rubicon trim if you guys want that. Now, the other thing about the Sahara is it comes standard with these block finish 20-inch wheels on these Bridgestone dueler tires. They're kind of like a truck and SUV tire, although they're not the all-terrain 33-inch that you can get on the Rubicon. Jeep now offers a 35-inch tall tire as part of their Extreme Recon package that's new for 2021. You can see this silver exterior color actually looks pretty good. This almost has kind of like a Mercedes G-Wagon vibe to it, kind of like a poor man's G-Wagon. And if you guys want the 4xe, you better want the 4-door, because this is only available in the unlimited trim, which means it's around 188 inches long. It has a long 18-inch long wheelbase. This is actually slightly longer than the Ford Bronco, but the Bronco is actually a wider vehicle. My tester also has, you can see, the Freedom hardtop with the body colored panels. You have those 2 removable roof panels, although I probably would option in this Sky one-touch roof for $4 grand, although it is a little bit noisy on the highway. It makes for extra convenience when you guys are off-roading, or when you guys want to take the roof off. Now, in terms of the suspension, all Wranglers still have a live axle front and rear and a recirculating ball type steering, which is going to give it good off-road capability, but not so great on-road dynamics. The back, you can see full LED taillights are going to be standard, full-size spare tire on the back as you'd expect, tow hooks at the back, and then you have a very subtle 4xe badge in addition to the blue badge that you get on the side to let people know this is the electrified model. Now, opening up the cargo area, you can see You don't really lose anything here in terms of cargo space. The 4xe still offers up to 27 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold down those rear seats and you get up to 67 cubic feet of space, which is pretty good numbers. You can see the standard charger, the level 1, comes with the vehicle. That's going to take about 12 hours to charge the vehicle fully. And then you can see underneath here, there is a little bit of storage. And if you're wondering, where do you plug this vehicle in? Well, the charge port is over here on the driver's side, right by the door. Open that up, you can see here's the standard J1772 plug. Like I said earlier, 12 hours to charge on that level 1. Shortens that to about 2 hours if you guys have a level 2. You cannot DC fast charge these because it's a plug-in hybrid. So let me briefly show you guys the interior of this Sahara version. You can see the silver is complemented by this black leather interior. The leather is standard on the Sahara models, optional if you guys go for a Rubicon where it's like $1,800 extra. You can also option in a lighter brown color interior, which I might actually go for, especially with the silver exterior, but this is kind of a classic color because black really just looks good on the Wrangler's interior. Now you can see once you're inside the Wrangler, the interior is basically the same, but the 4xe does give you a couple of key differences, which I'll talk about in just a moment. You can see the doors. They still come off if you guys want to take these doors off, and you can basically fold the windshield down and take off everything if you'd like. But once you get in and leave the doors on and slam the door actually has a nice solid sounding thunk, so I really like that. Unlike the Ford, the Jeep doesn't have those pillarless windows, which does make these doors a little bit heavier to remove, but makes a nice solid sounding thunk, so I definitely like that. Here's the key fob for the vehicle. It's Jeep's key. They have this on other Wrangler models. You can see flip blade style, although it is push button start. The remote start, or the smart entry, is actually optional. My tester has it. If you don't have that, you have to use the key to unlock and lock it as opposed to having the button on the outside. The button to fire up the engine is typically where you'd find it. And because it's the 4xe, you can hear there's no traditional starter noise, which is really weird if you guys have never driven an electrified Wrangler. You can see the gauges are unique on the 4xe. Instead of a speedometer that you got here on the regular versions, instead you kind of get like a power meter and a charge meter. There's a digital speedo where you'd expect it to be. The instrument panel kind of has like a green tint to it. Which again reminds you that you're in the 4xe version. Now the seats, you can see the seats have gotten so much more comfortable versus Wranglers in the past, but they're still not the most comfortable. I think that they've gotten a lot softer. I especially like how the leather, the headrest has gotten softer. But if you're looking for like power seats with memory, Jeep does not offer that, but they do offer 3-level heated seats, but again, no cooled seats. So the Bronco has a little bit slightly better seats for me. The door panel materials, you can see there's soft touch injection molded plastic, power door lock switch, and mirror controls on the actual seats. You have a little bit of storage down here where you have this little net, a little more storage over there or for the grab handle. The steering wheel, you can see it's a leather wrapped wheel. It also is manual tilt and telescoping. Not much adjustability of range for the telescope feature, so make sure you guys can get a comfortable driving position in this vehicle. If you look over here to the bottom left, you can see there are 3 unique modes here: hybrid, electric, and e-save. That basically allows you to go from the normal conventional hybrid mode to driving it on all electric power, and then e-save is to reserve the battery charged for later, or you can even program it to charge the battery while you're driving, which is really inefficient. Wouldn't recommend that. You're better off plugging this vehicle in. You can see typical steering wheel controls, adaptive cruise control on my tester, which is really nice to see. So the Sahara version has a slightly nicer interior versus the Rubicon, although the Rubicon kind of gives you those red trim pieces. You can see over here on the center stack, you have this 8-inch touchscreen, or it's an 8.4-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is a wired connection, which is kind of annoying, but Chrysler or Jeep has not put in their Uconnect 5. This is the old Uconnect 4 system. I've shown you this system before. It's nothing special, nothing different, but there is a new e-hybrid mode here, which allows you to show your power flow, driving history, charging schedule, and your e-save. This is where you can cycle between battery save and battery charge in the e-save mode. So that's really the only thing that's different. There's the factory GPS, which is a Garmin-based system. It's nothing terribly special. And then when you put the vehicle into reverse, Jeep just offers a traditional backup camera with trajectory and parking sensors, which is definitely nice. The screen itself is good, but I'd like to see Jeep upgrade this to their 10-inch display that you have in their Uconnect 5 system. You can see all your usual buttons here for your heated steering wheel, heated seats. This button right here is your max regen button. This vehicle actually offers a surprisingly decent amount of regen braking for a plug-in hybrid. I actually choose to drive it on all the time because it helps to recharge the battery, and it's not quite as strong as some of the full EVs, but at least it's cool that it's there. You have power window controls over here, one touch auto down for the driver's side and for the passenger side, but not for the rear window. So that's something I wish Jeep would have done. I actually like how Ford puts it on the center console over here as opposed to on the dash. I think that's a better location over here. You can see this controls the 8-speed auto. You have a manual lever for the 4-wheel drive system. You can see there is a 4-high auto mode, which is definitely nice. Traditional handbrake over here. Cup holders over there, and you can see there's 2 levels of storage here on the center console. It's relatively deep in there, which is great. And then opening up the glove box, you can see it's damped but not lined with felt. It's a bin style. It's a decent size. And then these little LEDs over here indicate how much charging time is left when you have this vehicle plugged in, which again makes it a more unique model. But overall, the interior is definitely still what you'd expect from a Wrangler. Roomy, although not quite as wide as the Bronco. Nice detailed touches in here that give it a lot of character, and I like how the plug-in hybrid version reminds you that you are in the electrified version of the Wrangler. Looking at the back seat, the Wrangler 4xe also doesn't give up any practicality in terms of the rear seat space compared to its gas-only versions. Now, you will notice the rear seat is a little bit higher because that's where the lithium-ion battery pack lives. It lives in here because Jeep says it's fully sealed, and you can also better climate control the battery's environment because batteries, like human beings, prefer to be in temperatures that are mild, so around like 50 to about 75, 80 degrees. Any warmer, any colder, it starts to affect the performance, but that's why it's sitting underneath the rear seat in this vehicle. Now, getting inside, the 4xe, because it's the 4-door model, gives you a pretty generous amount of rear legroom. You get around 38 inches back here, which is plentiful. The 2-door version has like, I think 6 inches less, so this is the one that you want for practicality. You can see with the hardtop headliner, this does help to insulate the cabin a little bit more. I drove this on the highway and it was a little bit quieter versus the power retractable soft top that I had in Austin when I first drove this vehicle. You can see there are rear seat air vents. Your window controls are back here on the center console. You have 4 USB ports under here. You can see 2 A Type-Cs. And then you have a standard power outlet. And there's no heated rear seats back here. And in terms of the materials on the door panels, they're actually soft touch plastic over here with some stitching. You have 2 map pockets on both sides, which is nice. You have these speakers right here, right above your head, basically. The Wrangler, unlike the Bronco, has this safety bar that goes across here that does take up this view when you have the roof off. The Bronco gets rid of that, gives you a full view. But you can see here, there is a nice armrest that folds down and gives you 2 cup holders, and this is still one of the larger back seats that you'll find in the segment. I haven't had a chance to test out the 4-door Bronco as of this filming. All right, so now that I finally have the Wrangler 4xe, the plug-in hybrid, back home for a week, I am starting out my driving portion in this video with the battery fully charged, which is something that the Jeep did not give me the vehicle with when I first drove it in Austin about 6 months ago. Obviously, with a plug-in hybrid vehicle, you can charge it while you're driving, but that's the whole, that ruins the whole purpose of a plug-in hybrid. Is you get so much more efficient and less expensive charging when you charge at home. And the beauty about these plug-in hybrids is you can charge these at home, and you can essentially theoretically run on full battery power alone while you do go to and from work. Now, this car at 100% charge started out showing 26 miles of range. That's a little bit higher than what the EPA rates it at, which on the window sticker it says 22. Jeep says it's 21. So right around 25 miles of range. So obviously I'm gonna, now that I have my 0 to 60 timing equipment, I'm gonna strap it on and we're gonna see what this truck can do. But this Sahara model is the more road-going, the road-friendly version. So we've got the full hardtop. This one here is modestly priced at around $57,000. It's missing like $5,000 in options on it that you could add to it. A Rubicon is even more expensive. But I do wanna start out with trying out the 0 to 60. So I have it in 4 high right now. Scratch that, we'll try the 0 to 60 later. I just wanted to try giving it the beans over there and seeing what the acceleration felt like. It feels relatively good. I actually think that the plug-in hybrid has a lot of power. 375 horsepower is plenty, although the vehicle does weigh over 5,000 pounds. You just notice that the plug-in hybrid has the same amount of torque as the 392, and with all that torque, as soon as you put your foot down, you can feel this vehicle accelerate with authority. It has a lot of low-end pull that makes driving this vehicle so much fun. It makes it feel smaller than what it is, and this is where Jeep still has an edge over the Bronco, is the electrified options. I mean, right now the gas engine has completely shut off, and we can just accelerate on electric power alone, which is really cool. It's something that Ford hasn't offered yet, isn't offering yet on the Bronco, but they probably will in the future. But In typical Wrangler fashion, though, this vehicle definitely does not handle super well. You have live axles front and rear, and you notice them right away. You have a recirculating ball type steering, and you notice them. And then when the gas engine steps on, it is a little noisy. The 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder is not a wonderful engine. It doesn't sound good. It's not quite as buzzy as some of the other plug-in hybrids that I've driven that's not in this segment. And for some reason, my particular tester, if you can hear this, there's a little creak from the steering column, so that would really annoy me. But look at this, because the steering is recirculating ball, you can literally do this. The Wrangler doesn't do anything, and that's kind of where the Bronco has an edge, because it has an independent front suspension. It's been tweaked to, or it's been designed to handle much better on-road, which is where most people are going to be driving these vehicles. But you know, all you Jeepies out there are gonna point out that the Wrangler is going to be more capable off-road because it has the live axles front and rear. It's going to have more wheel articulation, but this is still a relatively good driving vehicle. The seats are comfortable, although I think the Bronco's seats are more comfortable. Visibility is also good. My tester actually has adaptive cruise control, which works okay on the Wrangler. It doesn't have any kind of lane keep assist. It does have automatic emergency braking, which is what I expected in a vehicle like this. It doesn't have, you know, great steering feel to have the lane keep stuff, but at least it has adaptive cruise and automatic emergency braking. That's a pretty nice thing for it to have. So overall, it's rather pleasant driving, but it's still not wonderful. But the plug-in hybrid aspect is really enticing because you can drive this vehicle on electric only if you want, but as soon as the pedal goes to the floor, the gas engine turns on no matter what the state of charge is with the battery. So that's something to keep in mind. It will not drive on all electric power if you demand every ounce of power from the engine. So kind of keep that in mind. That's where something like the RAV4 Prime, it will allow you to drive completely on electric alone, but it's still, with a 17 kilowatt hour battery pack, this has good power. But also keep in mind, if you want to drive this vehicle in electric only, there's an electric only mode here, which will favoritize the battery. Like right now, it's all on battery, and I'm coasting along in silence in a Wrangler. And you can actually feel the automatic transmission shift, even though it's in electric only mode. It's a strange feeling. But when you're in this mode, you only have 134 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque, so this definitely feels sluggish. It's enough to get you around town, but it's definitely not what I'd say fast. But let's go ahead and try out our 0 to 60 here. Oh, nice. Whoa. I just got 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds there. 5.2 seconds is 0.8 seconds faster than what Jeep claims the 4xe can do. They say 6 seconds. And that was with a slight downhill. I got great reaction time. I brake torqued it, and I left it in 4-wheel drive auto, which allows the 4-wheel drive system to switch into an automatic mode when you need it to. That's very impressive. 5.2. We're gonna go the other direction. We're gonna see if I can get a similar number. But I was not expecting 5.2. This thing feels fast, but that was impressive. It's so strange to be driving this thing in all electric mode. This is definitely the best driving, or the best powertrain that the Wrangler offers right now, and I'm so excited because Jeep is offering this in the new Grand Cherokee, which I'll be driving next month in Moab. All right, try again, run 2. Oh, geez. Holy crap. Other direction, I just got a faster time, 0 to 60 in 5.06 seconds. Is that right? Is that for real? I'm gonna try it one more time because I'm not convinced. That seems really quick. I mean, I'm happy that it's so fast, but it just doesn't seem right. But I've got 2 bars of signal on my 0 to 60 race box equipment, so it's right. It's got the right amount of signal on it. But I am just shocked because this vehicle does feel fast, but I didn't think it would feel that quick. All right, run 3, let's see what I can do. Brake torque. All right, run 3, 5.3 seconds. faster than Jeep's claim of 6 seconds. So I'm convinced. 3 runs and it's all been relatively consistent. This is with the battery at 88% charge now. Very, very impressive. So this is a little bit slower than the 392 with the V8. I'm talking about the V8, which was like 4.4 seconds. But the fact that it gives you that electric range, the fact that you can drive it on, you know, all electric mode for up to 21 miles. I mean, this car was showing 26 when I fully charged it. The fact that around town, when you have the gas engine and the electricity combined, it'll do almost 50 miles to the gallon. This is MPGe, which isn't necessarily accurate. You have to have the battery charged to get that number. It makes this truck so impressive, and you still get all the off-road capability. I mean, if you guys want to see this vehicle off-road, watch my 4xe video that I filmed in Austin 6 months ago. That has all the off-road footage in 4 low with electric only mode. Jeep should offer this powertrain in the Grand Cherokee L. They just need to 4xe all the things, which is why I'm so happy that it's showing up in the next generation Grand Cherokee, which I'll be driving next month in Moab. But yes, the Wrangler's road manners are still sloppy. The seats are okay. The technology is decent, although it's time for Jeep to kind of give us an update with Uconnect 5. But the 4xe powertrain is the way to go, and the fact that I can get 20 miles of range realistically, the fact that it does 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds, makes this one hell of appealing Wrangler, and I think that everybody should be going with the 4xe plug-in powertrain. So after spending a full week with the plug-in hybrid Wrangler 4xe, I can pretty much let you guys know that this is the powertrain that I would go for. As much as I love the 392 for its loud V8 exhaust noise, that engine was just simply a thirsty pig. It kind of feels like yesterday's technology, and while there was something extremely fun about that vehicle, it's not something that I would want to daily drive every day because of the fuel cost. The 4xe is easily the model that you want to get if you want to daily drive this vehicle. I was able to verify that it'll easily do at least 20 miles of all-electric range because of that larger 17.1 kilowatt-hour battery pack. And while the transitions between electric and gas aren't the smoothest, I do believe it's because of the 8-speed automatic. It's something that Jeep is going to continuously improve. It's something that I could live with, most likely, because it is a Wrangler. Wranglers are always vehicles that come with compromises. But really, what really shocked me about this vehicle was the 0 to 60 performance. I was not expecting this vehicle to beat Jeep's claim of 6 seconds and get us into the low 5s and even almost the 5-second mark. It makes it only about 6 to 8 tenths slower versus the V8 powered Wrangler 392, and you get to do it in stealth. And I think that's what's the coolest thing about the Wrangler 4xe. And the beauty about it is, even though because it's a plug-in hybrid version, you don't have to worry about range, because once that gas engine or once that electric motor depletes the battery, you have about 370 miles of total range when the gas engine kicks in, and you have basically the ability to kind of just keep going on those longer road trips. Now, obviously, out on the road, the Wrangler is still not the most comfortable. The Ford Bronco is easily better in that regard, but where Jeep has the edge versus the Ford is just the overall different mixes of powertrains that you can get. Ford only offers 2 powertrains on the Bronco right now. I imagine more are coming, but after spending a week with the 4xe model, this is now the one that you want to get. And what makes the 4xe even more appealing is the fact that it does qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit, which means you can get crazy lease deals on this vehicle. I saw on Jeep's website you can lease a base Sahara, which is around $52,000 for around $250 a month. That's of course with $4,000 down. You'll have to check your local area to see if that's true. If you want to step it up to a Rubicon, those are around $415 a month. Same terms for 42 months and $4,000 down. Makes this super appealing, but also keep in mind, if you guys want to pay cash for this vehicle, it is a lot more expensive. Like I said earlier, $10,000 more expensive versus a gas-only version of the Wrangler. And because you can basically option in Wranglers with everything, this one here is about $57,000. It's on the lower end for a Sahara. If you want to spec out everything on a Rubicon, they can go up to about 69 grand, which makes the Wrangler a little bit more expensive than the Bronco. But with so many different mixes of powertrains, I'd say it's definitely worth the upcharge. And it's a vehicle that's going to be extremely capable off-road, decent on-road, and it's going to hold its value extremely well because that's what Wranglers have always done. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on this 2022 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.